Yeah, so I shaved the beard off, and I feel like I've just been batting 1,000 ever since. Iowa State took down mighty Houston on probably one of the quickest release threes I've ever seen in my entire life by Heisey.
Yeah, love real.
Did he come down at all?
No, that ball hit him in the hands and he went straight up. There was no lock
I
at
don't think
all.
I've ever seen anything like that.
That
It was unbelievable. That'll be burning my brain for forever.
Yeah, it's like when I watched that live, I was like, did he touch the ball? Like, did it just bounce off his fingertips or something like that? It was
Did he use the
incredible.
board?
But no, that was the moment of the game. I mean, it was competitive throughout. Each team, they had a 10-point lead at one point. Iowa State ended the game on a hell of a run. Like this is what Iowa State needed to do to prove themselves as a a top contender again. I think Jake's had his doubts. Brad, you've been on the fence. Like to me, like this team's always been there, and it's here 2 games in a row now. They've kind of shaken off that schneid a little bit, and they're right back up there.
Yeah, from the other side, I put this loss squarely on Sampson. Sharp picks up that fourth foul, third foul, whatever it was, and he yanked him out of the game. I think with like 6 or 7 minutes left, and Iowa State starts that 16-4 run or whatever they ended the game on, and he held him and held him and held it, knowing like his team could not score without Sharp out there. Like, I mean, that's part of Houston's problem is the depth and the lack of scoring options outside of really Flemings and Sharp. Uzan is having a terrible year. Sinek and Tugler are not great offensive players, and he just let that run build. At some point, you got to trust your 5th-year senior guy that's gone to a Final Four, maybe multiple Final Fours. I can't remember, Elite Eight, national championship game. Like, throw him out there. Like, you can't, because I think that's what's killed him. Because what kind of slowed that run was when Sharp got back out there and Flemings had a little bit of extra help and kept the game close. But that, to me, I don't know how he makes that big of a mistake, because you could read the momentum in the game as soon as he went out. It just flipped, and
It did flip. Yes.
In a game that ends up being a 3-point game off a lightning quick 3 on a great pass out there to the corner. I think it came off an offensive rebound too. Like, little moments like that matter. So if that run gets stalled by 1 or 2 possessions by adding Sharp out there, we get 1 or 2 extra buckets. Like, you're talking about a totally different view on Houston and this game. So like to me, that because you can't put that on the players, because Sharp's on the bench, he can't do anything from there. And honestly, how do you not understand that the rest of your bench is absolutely useless at this point?
Right.
So I don't know. That was surprising to me. It's the first real coaching mistake I think I've seen him make in 30 years. So I guess he's entitled to one.
Yeah.
But credit to Iowa State for there was 2 or 3 times I thought Houston was slamming the doors shut, and they popped right back up. They did not turn the ball over whatsoever, and that was extremely impressive. They kept Houston out of the fast break, and for a lot, that's what Tennessee did to them earlier this year, and that has been the big key to beating these Houston teams over the last few years, is not turning the ball over. Don't let them get easy buckets, because the half-court offense really hasn't been there for them. And that proved to be true. Iowa State used the home court advantage and holding on to the ball to absolutely win this game.
Yep, absolutely.
Then we might as well just get to it. Let's go ahead and pull the Band-Aid off. Get to the nitty-gritty. Michigan 91, Purdue 80. So many things about this game.
The game wasn't that close, like in both ways, as weird as that sounds to say. The first half, there was about an 8-minute stretch where Michigan looked like they were going to 50-piece Purdue at Mackey. They went 6 for 8 from threes. Every miss that they got an offensive rebound. Oscar Clough got an F1 on literally became a 5-point possession. Everything that could go wrong in about a 6 to 7 minute stretch for Purdue absolutely went wrong, and everything that could go right for Michigan absolutely did. And a lot of that was Michigan imposing their will. Braden Smith just goose-egged the first half. Just like all the pieces that needed to work for a Purdue team to beat a team like this Michigan team, it just wasn't clicking into place. But then, fast forward into a second half, and credit to Purdue, they didn't fold. They battled back. They got it within 7 or 8, and you thought they got to stop, and you thought for a second, it's like, man, if they can get this to 4 or 5 and get another stop and another bucket, maybe, just maybe, they're gonna do something here. And then you just got, and no pun intended here, or no joke, air balls from Fletcher Lawyer. And so it was, for me as a Purdue fan, very frustrating to watch that first half, especially that stretch, just because it was just like guys, we got to rebound. You got to get a body on somebody. You got to close out. And it's just all these things that we weren't doing. And of course, it's like, of course, this is a big athletic team, and Purdue is not built to handle these teams. But in the second half, they battled back. I thought TKR played relatively well. He had, 27 points on 26 attempts. But then Braden Smith woke up in the second half, and he looked fantastic. And like I tell myself that, man, if we could have gotten that same Braden Smith in the first half, maybe we're telling a different story today. It was encouraging in the sense where I think Purdue can hang, but they're not national title caliber. They've played 3 teams that are in Iowa State, Illinois, and Michigan, and they failed the test each time. Illinois, they had on the ropes and just let them off. Iowa State, they shot like shit and got drubbed at home. And then Michigan just imposed their will. And when you let teams do that, especially at Mackey Arena, your home court, it's not going to prove well late in March, early in April.
The worst part to me on this game from Purdue's standpoint is like you started this new thing where you're launching threes and cleaning the offensive glass and just didn't do it this game.
Yeah.
Like Warrior had 6 shots. Smith was 0 for the world in the first half. And like he got half his points for the free throw line. Like you went away from this new thing that was working where you just ran Iowa out of the gym. You're beating the crap out of everybody. You're winning these big games. And then you went away from it and went right back to feeding TKR for 90 shots. Which, and like, no, I don't know, TKR might have been the best post player on the floor, but it doesn't matter when Michigan has 3 to your 1.5. Like, you played right in the Michigan's hands there because your biggest win, your best matchup was going to be Braden Smith and Boyer taking on the Michigan guards because, like, Cadeau is good and Kaysen's good and all that, but I think you all had the better lineup there for that and just didn't want to use your new weapon, new toy that was working very well because, I mean, you did rebounded really well. I think you only got out rebounded by 8, but majority of that was done in the first half. I think the second half.
Yeah, that stretch when they went on a 16-0 run, that's about half of it right there.
Yeah, so like that's probably like even more even in the second half, and it's just that was disappointing to see. It was like Painter liked his new toy, and then as soon as he got tested on it, it was like nope, go back to what I'm comfortable with, and that led to all getting beat at home. But this locked in to me that we're in a 2-horse race that was different than the 2-horse race we thought we were in. It's Michigan and Duke, and we'll get to find out on Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's going to be an absolutely fantastic matchup.
And because Arizona can't, like in the Big 12, they can't get it figured out there. But this is going to be like stop what you're doing and watch this game kind of stuff. We'll find on Saturday. We can get more into it later. But this just locked it in that it is a Michigan Duke world, and everybody else is just playing in it at the moment. Does that last all the way through March? I don't know. But, Michigan's just so deep. I mean, they're pulling guys off the bench that were barely getting minutes earlier in the year. Like, I mean, McKinney was playing well there for a half. Kaysen played well. I mean, your starting point guard, or not point, 2 guard is getting 17 minutes when you got 3 guards on the bench that are getting that, or if not more. So it's just, they're deep, they're mean, and Mara is great at, their 3 big guys are great at different things, and they're really hard puzzle to solve. I don't know how Wisconsin solved it, but
they went nuclear from 3-point land, and which is why I'm like, for the benefit of the rest of college basketball, if they draw like a North Texas team circa late 2019, 2020-ish era that goes absolutely atomic from 3-point land, then maybe somebody's got a shot. But that'll be about it.
It's ridiculous. Like, everybody thought Michigan was going to be good coming in this year, but not this.
Yeah, I was high on them.
Yeah. I mean, I loved the makeup. That was my pick to win the Big Ten, and that's looking great. But I didn't expect it like this. I didn't expect the one loss to be Wisconsin and just them dominate everybody else. Did not see that coming this year. And it's been thorough. It has been a thorough butt kicking of the rest of the Big Ten.
And I think, too, with Cadeau, having the game that he had elevated that team to an even greater extent, because it's not like he's not had to do a lot. But when he does, I feel like that just adds fuel on the fire for them.
Also proves our point that Hubert Davis was holding him back a bit. He's playing a lot more relaxed. He's still got a little bit of turnover issues, but he's not going 8 turnovers to 1 assist. That's like, I mean, he went 7-4 and scored quite a bit. So like he's thriving under Dusty May, and where he was floundering under Hubert Davis.
I was listening to I it was some podcast or the radio, something on the way home, and apparently there are NBA scouts and NBA executives that have Dusty May on their short list of coaches that they're looking at, which I find
Get him the
pretty
hell out of the
amazing.
Big Ten.
What?
Get him the hell out of the Big Ten.
Yes.
I am shocked they keep going to the college well. I can't think of anybody that it's really worked out for, because like Billy Donovan did okay. Patino was bad. Calipari was bad. I mean, if you want to count Coach K with the Olympics, that was about as close you got to be successful.
Yeah.
But I don't know of any college coach, and I mean, I could be wrong, but that has done well in the NBA. It is
Larry Brown from was doing
yeah,
years ago.
yeah. That was when
That's
there was like
that's
seven,
that's
that
the
was
only
like
one I
there were 7 people on the planet that knew how to coach basketball, and he just happened to be one of them.
Yeah.
Like he was 90 years old, but when he came back to college, he struggled at SMU.
yes.
I don't know that. I mean, you got to look at him like, same reason you got to look at Shire was getting love from Chicago. I don't know if there's a lot of interest there. You got to look at these guys, but at the same time,
Well, what can Shire do with 11 point guards?
Yeah.
I mean, it's I don't know. If anybody can, Shire might be the one to figure it out. But
I'm assuming that's going to be a 5-out.
Not only did Michigan get this win at Purdue, but it was also Robbie Hummel bobblehead night.
Have you guys seen the bobblehead? It's ugly as sin.
Hey, if you're Robbie Hummel, do you want it to be on the Michigan game? Because there's a high possibility you lose that game.
Yeah, I don't want
IU at home or something like that where you got a good chance of winning.
Apparently, he had like a little speech. He had a speech at the beginning of the game. It was apparently great. Everybody was fired up. I mean, Mackey was wild. I mean, everything that I've seen on Twitter and stuff, and it
was till it wasn't.
That was unfortunate.
All right, and then we had an upset here. We had Iowa 57, Nebraska 52. Is Nebraska?
Wheels are falling off for Nebraska.
Nebraska is on the schneid, 100%. Like they had what 3-4 tough losses? Is it 4 now? 4 tough losses. In like a 2-week stretch, games where they flirted with winning and just kind of fumbled it across the goal line. I mean, how they had that amazing comeback against Purdue, fumbled it at the goal line. They had Iowa on the ropes at one point, and Iowa just started kind of creepily pulling away. I mean, it's just not going well for Nebraska ball right now, and I'm not 100% sure what their offense feels like. It's just completely disappeared.
It's solely the 3 ball. They cannot hit from deep right now. They're in a cold stretch, and they don't know how to score inside the paint. That's coming back to bite them. I mean, this Iowa here, they didn't shoot the ball well from deep, but they could score inside, and that was the difference. Live by the 3, die by the 3. They are the perfect example of that. And I mean, and nobody was ever. I'm not taking anything away from Nebraska. They were a good team, but nobody was like they're beating you in 100 different ways. They were beating you because they had 4 guys that were hitting the 3 ball, and 3 of them were on every night. And right now, they did one is on
story,
and they work well together. They're taking good shots. The offense is still the offense. They're just not hitting, and that's part of the issue when you shoot as many or dependent on as many threes as they are, and they don't rebound. They don't hit the offensive glass. Hoiberg has them sprinting back on defense to set their defense up. So it's one shot and done, and typically it's a 30-foot shot and not going for them right now.
I always forget that they beat Illinois. Like I don't know why I can never remember that.
They beat Illinois.
Illinois too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So live looking real quick. Creighton is about to beat UConn at UConn. And I'm gonna go ahead and offer my mea culpa here to Jake. After squeaking one out against Georgetown, this UConn team has just played with their food to the point where the food's playing with them.
I mean, and this has no effect. Well, no effect on March, but like it makes you nervous to trust them in March. But it's still going to be a team that is going to go far because they're way too talented. They're way too well coached. But it just leaves them like on your likelihood for upsets. They're going to be higher up there because they like to play with food and let it hang around. And it's not just away from home. It's at home. It's at neutral site. It's at your house. They just let it happen. And here it is again. I mean, and while we're doing that, we got a great one with Alabama and Arkansas. Their 2-point game with 5 seconds left. Tennessee finally didn't blow a large lead. They tried to, but Oklahoma's just not good enough. But hey, that's where we're at.
Let's see. And then we had Arizona State 72, Texas Tech 67, with possibly the biggest impact of this game is losing JT Toppin for the year.
Yep, RIP Texas Tech.
Yeah, they're dead in the water.
That sucks so bad. I hate that. But it's
between him and Richie Saunders, Caleb Wilson, it's just been a rough week for, great college basketball players, great key members of their teams going down with injuries just sad state.
And I mean, the offense, like for Texas Tech, they've not had anybody of value put any kind of production off the bench. So now you're going to force one of those guys who's played, whatever, let's say it's 85% of the year, has not had to be any kind of offensive threat. And you're going to have, it's going to take two guys to step up to do the production. Like Watts is going to have to step up and somebody else is going to have to step up with them. And don't see it happening. Unfortunately, for the run Texas Tech was on and they were starting to put it together there. I mean, maybe Christian Anderson goes on a Kemba type run and just carries them through, but I haven't seen that kind of ability out of him, and Kemba didn't have to go through as good of teams as he's going to have to go through to get there.
Yeah,
this year is an unreal level of talent in college basketball.
Yeah, I just don't believe that's in the cards.
Mm-mm. Yeah, and Sammy mentioned it, Caleb Wilson. Is North Carolina dead in the water?
I mean, after last night, it looked like it. NC State
sure did look like it.
Into the woodshed, and here we are.
What's going on with Vassar, whatever? Because he didn't play that game either, so I don't know how much that game tells us, other than North Carolina's really bad without two of their starters, which if you take two starters off any team and they're not.
I mean, well, hell, you take two starters off of any of the top teams. I'm pretty sure we're worried about their future and longevity and all that fun stuff. But I'm not 100% sure what was going on there. I was just pretty well locked into the fact that, Purdue was catching belt to ass, and look up, and so was North Carolina. And you're like, okay, well, shit happens.
And also for this, and we're hitting our kind of quick hits of our recap, but is UCLA, and we've got Mick Cronin to discuss later on. UCLA may be one of the more disappointing teams of the year. I mean, or did we really kind of feel like, do we not have a lot of faith? I mean, I had faith in Donovan Dent, but he's not been able to really much of anything.
I told you, this team is not built to succeed, and y'all wanted to argue with me.
No. I didn't argue with you, Jake. I told you, and I've told you both from jump. It's like this team would be good if Mick Cronin actually wanted to coach them.
He hates them.
Okay, besides the fact that they're way underperforming and he's getting way overpaid. Do you think it was a shot at Izzo for him to kick his guy out of the game? There,
maybe. And you know what? I didn't really think that foul was that bad.
It was.
I didn't think it was that. F1, yes. That's not the argument. Throwing a dude out of the game is, I don't know. Felt to me like you're taking a shot at Izzo because he wouldn't do that to his player, and you're going to be like, I'm a bigger man than you are. Look, put the cameras on me.
A-Cuff just, we talked about Arkansas being a dangerous tournament team. A-Cuff just tied the game to force overtime.
What a star.
He is a star.
But I do have more. I do want to talk about Mick Cronin a little bit more, which is exactly what he wants us to do. So I hate to fall into his trap, his evil trap. But he is our bench behavior for the evening. So we'll get to him as we close out the episode. But I also posed the question: why is Louisville still ranked? I mean, they won't be now for the rest of the season.
No.
But they can't keep them out of the rankings, and it drives me nuts.
Well, just like Wisconsin climbing back into the rankings, it's almost like a get back down there.
Absolutely.
To be fair, Wisconsin earned their route with the week they had.
They did.
Back up. But it's like the preseason rankings, like we did with St. John's. Like they had Louisville so high. It's like anytime they see any flashes of good, they're like, "Oh yeah, they're back. Look, we were right at the beginning," and just wanting to prove themselves right, voting them back up. So I mean, Louisville doesn't deserve to be ranked. I don't think Tennessee deserves to be ranked anymore, but they keep getting votes to be up there. But who knows? It's not like AP voters watch anything outside of the Eastern time zone anyway. So that's the world we're going to live in, and that's unfortunately going to decide who's getting the primetime matchups on TV until stuff gets figured out.
And then with St. Louis with that loss was a little bit of a disappointment there.
Yeah, 18-game winning streak crashing down at Rhode Island. Yeah, it was just I think they've been good all year. They've had great moments. This wasn't like a blowout or anything like that. It was just like it felt like a team that's won 18 straight games that the grind to do that wore on them. and they coughed this one up.
This is a rough stretch for St. Louis because VCU right now is red hot. They dropped this one unexpectedly to Rhode Island. I mean, Rhode Island is taken out. I think they beat VCU and George Mason as well. So they've got wins against the top 3 teams in the conference. But so this VCU team on fire, and that is scary for St. Louis because dropping 2 in a row here is going to keep them out of the tournament at large from that standpoint. They can't take 2 conference losses. That's just sad because this team is good enough to be there. It's just whatever world we live in right now where good mid-majors can't schedule power teams because they don't want to take the chance of losing. So you end up with less mid-major teams making it because they can't get the schedule because their conference lets them down. It's really unfortunate that it's going to come down to like 2.5 games for the St. Louis team.
Yeah.
Jake, tell us a little bit about the March Madness excitement that's coming up with bench points.
Look, we're partnered up with WinWare. We got do a whole bracket thing. They're made a bracket pool on ESPN when that comes out. Winner's going to get some free gear. Going to have some kind of giveaways for the winner of each round. Just going to have to pay attention to the socials and us on here to figure out when and how to sign up. So that way you can get involved to get some good looking free gear. I love the new hats they're putting out and all that. I can't wait to get my hands on one.
Yeah, I've actually left my head hatless in anticipation for their hats.
Nice. Let's see. Now, listen, good gosh, huge games coming up this weekend. Then the first one being Michigan at Duke. This is the game of the year so far. Yes.
Is there another game that we need to talk about? I mean,
there's not much. There's not much that can hold a candle to it.
Like you got Purdue, Indiana. That's a rivalry game, but honestly, Indiana's playing Super Bowl 2.0 and Purdue just coming off an absolute drubbing. I mean, that might be interesting, but my whole weekend is centered around Duke and Michigan. And there's part of me that wants, Michigan to slap Duke in the mouth. It makes me feel better about them beating Purdue, but also kind of want, Yaxel to get belt to ass after, being proven right recently. So I think this is just going to be pure cinema.
Yeah, no, there's a few other games out there worth watching. You got Arizona and Houston, and then Iowa State, BYU, but everything centers on this Duke Michigan game. That's where the every basketball eye out there should be on. 2.5 point spreads on a neutral court for Michigan. I kind of want to take Duke on it because I don't. I think the matchup leans Duke's way from the player by player standpoint because Brown is an incredible defender and he's athletic enough to stay with Yaxel if he can stay out of foul trouble. They got the 2 big bodies of Boozer and Nagumba that can bang, and then the guards I think are just an even between offense and defense wise. Maybe a little more offense on this Michigan team. Just worry about the depth. The depth of Michigan is where they could flex, but we'll see. I think I like the way Boozer is able to score at will and be able to drag the big guys out because you're going to have to commit someone with some athleticism to him. So can't really put Mara out on him on the perimeter, and you can't really put Mara as junior. So it's going to be Yaxel, but you also want to waste Yaxel's legs having to bang with Boozer. So it's going to be interesting. You got 2 great young coaches going at it too that are both have already got Final Four experience and their super young careers. So this has everything you want to be and more. You're going to be crazy to miss it. I'm going to call my shot. I'm going to take Duke, especially when I can get plus money on them. But it should be a fantastic game. I don't see this game really getting outside of 5 to 10 points at the most when each team goes on a run. If it turns into a blowout, especially if it turns into a Michigan blowout, season's over. Just go ahead and give them the tournament. Go ahead and give them the championship because no matter who wins the actual tournament, the best team would be Michigan. It's one of those years that the best team, if they don't win, it doesn't matter. But if Duke wins, then you got to have a serious conversation about anybody that's been having Duke under the radar because this will give them wins over Connecticut and Michigan State at Michigan State, and almost anybody you could try to rank above them, they've probably got a win over. And so it would be one of the more dominant runs that they've had, and also one of the more quiet ones where there wasn't a ton of hype around them. Yeah. For Duke. I mean, they've had the media machine loves Duke because it's a good brand, but it's been one of the quieter years for them.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be hard. It's hard to choose. Michigan's depth is so hard to pick against. I feel like that's what makes it the toughest part. It's gonna be an exciting game. I think it's a 6:30 tip.
Yeah, 6:30. Playing in Washington D.C. too. So lucky.
I didn't realize that. I missed that. And I had this all along. That's pretty neat. I mean, wonder how long ago they made this matchup.
It wasn't long because the ACC made a change from last year to this year where they dropped a conference game. That's why this week
That's right.
they had. So credit to Shire and May or the ADs for each figuring that out and getting that worked out. Because I can guarantee you there wasn't an arena in the nation that wasn't begging for that matchup.
No doubt.
So that should be a complete sellout, especially. But this is, fan game. I can't wait to watch it. It's also they're looking at a low scoring game. You're looking at an over under right now at 148. That's interesting to me.
Both teams have great defenses.
Yeah.
But Michigan seems to put up 80 in its sleep, even against good defenses. So it's shocking to me that it's that low. Must be the pay. They're expecting the pace go Duke's way, and that to me also is another reason to pick Duke. But that's just where I'm at with it.
I gotta say, Coleman was such a bad arena. Every time I see it on TV now, since we went there, I'm just like, God, that place is just not great. Tiny seats, difficult for big men. But then we also have Arizona at Houston, and this would be Arizona without Koa Pete.
Yeah, this game is losing a little steam by the day.
Houston, and that's also going to depend on if BYU and Arizona right now are 7 minutes into the game and it's 10-10. So it's not exactly an offensive showcase here yet. And BYU's, actually just took a pretty good lead here. If BYU pulls this one out, I think we have to start asking some serious questions about Arizona because they're on a 2-game losing streak right now.
Yeah.
And if they go into Houston with a 3-game losing streak and Houston just got beat by Iowa State, somebody's got to win.
I mean, this is a little bit of the Big 12 beating each other up, but also a little bit of regression back to the mean a little bit because Arizona was playing out of their mind and doing it without 3-ball for so long that they didn't really even get tested that much. Now we got to see what they're about. This would be counter to most people's opinion. I don't think the Koa Pete loss is that big of a loss for him. It's not like he was being ultra productive. If you can get a walk into the building with 1 foul instead of 2, I think you're going to be much happier with the offensive production that he does with offensive rebounds and allowing Burries and Bradley to go. But they've got to find at least one person other than Burries that can hit threes because right now Deli Orso was supposed to be that guy and he can't. Honestly, I don't know if he's hit a 3 outside of before Christmas. It's been so long since I've seen him hit anything, and that's really hurting them because they can't stretch leads out fast, and you can't make anything quick comebacks if you're not forcing turnovers. Going against teams that do not turn the ball over that much. It's the downside of playing in a league that has a Houston in it. Everybody figured out how to not turn the ball over. The way you beat Houston, now that you need all the turnovers, everybody's already figured out how to not do that. So you gotta pressure defense there somewhere. It's gonna be. Fleming's matchup with Bradley is going to be fantastic and sharp and all that. It should be fun to watch, but I'm worried that this Arizona floor. We talked about how low their floor was going to be when we talked about our preseason thing. I'm worried we're going to be very, very right on Arizona that they had an extremely high national championship ceiling, but a floor of first round exit. They're showing that floor.
And Sam, I think you mentioned it just a second ago. For Iowa State at BYU, does BYU still have a shot? They're playing well with Arizona right now.
They're still early in this game. So give Arizona some time to settle in. Maybe I think BYU's up to 2 now. It looks like it was 4 just as I could go. Now it's back to 2. I don't think Arizona's going to lose this game to BYU, and I think the Saunders injury is eventually going to catch up to him in this game, and then the longevity of that injury is going to impact them down the road, and I just don't think without Saunders they're going to have enough firepower to play against this Iowa State team. Just my opinion. Still high on Iowa State, so I would take Iowa State running away with this thing. If they were fully healthy, I think it would be a more interesting game. I think it would be more interesting conversation. I don't see it. I've been wrong before. Hell, I've been wrong multiple times today. So, Yeah,
The only thing I think BYU has is AJ, right? Like, and when you have a player as good as him, you can't totally write them off any game
Right.
because he's shown the ability to put up near 40. And now that the only other shooting option is kind of dead, he's going to have to do a lot more and carry that load, and I think he will. Well, does he do it against Iowa State has a very good defense? That seems like the most likely outcome. I think is Iowa State by 10 to 15. But there's that chance that he puts on some kind of special show and goes for 50 something and just carries them and keeps it close.
Yeah.
Of anybody playing college ball right now, it feels like he's the only one that can do that. Has that upside to him, but it's also going to be very, very hard to touch that number, especially if Robert Wright is not on at all, then there's no chance. But he's going to need some help from Robert Wright, and then somebody else is going to have to be able to hand him the ball. What's going to happen?
So for our last two games in our preview, we've got Tennessee at Vanderbilt and Indiana at Purdue. Tennessee at Vanderbilt. What are our thoughts here? It's they're playing in that godforsaken arena.
Yeah, I think Tennessee is starting to wake up quite a bit here. I think Vanderbilt's starting to fall asleep. I say starting to. I mean, they had their schneid a little bit, and I've got Tennessee all the way in this one. It's an in-state rivalry. They're going to be up for it, but I think Tennessee's trajectory right now is on a higher path than Vandy's. And I like the matchup here for Tennessee. I like the way Nate Ament has been playing here recently. I've got Tennessee going all the way on this one.
If this was two other teams, I would tell you the roster that Tennessee has, I'd pick that team. Not every time. But Vandy always seems to make Tennessee's life terrible and miserable, somehow steals one game. And if they're going to steal one game, I think it's going to be with Tennessee on the road. Just takes a minute to be off for a half for 10 minutes, and all of a sudden this Vandy team's going to make him pay. We lack a true point guard. Gillespie's a great player, but he needs to be off the ball, and nobody else seems to want to help. Boswell is least aggressive. JP Estrella, if he's not playing, that's a huge loss. Carey's not. He's been solved, and he can't hit free throws, so people are just physical with him, and that you'll take that all day. I think he was 1 of 6 tonight.
Yep.
I mean, there's a good chance Nate Ament puts up 30 and we lose this game. But yeah, I think as much as I hate to say it, I'd take Vandy in this game, and I bet the line's going to come out 2.5, 3 to Vandy.
I was about to ask that, what you thought about being. And then Indiana at Purdue.
Look,
rival game.
As a Purdue fan who had very, very high hopes preseason of making a Final Four here in Indianapolis and potentially cutting down some nets, those dreams are becoming hopes and dreams are becoming wishful thinking. So for me, I need one W against Indiana this year. I need them to show up at Mackey here. Indiana's just this weird team. I think we called it at the beginning of the year. They're mid-major all-stars. They have moments where they look like world beaters, and then they have moments where they look like the world can beat them. So it's weird. For my own personal sanity, I need Purdue to win this.
You're going to need good lawyer to show up. You've got to have something to offer outside of Smith and Kaufman around, because I mean it took Dorn having the game of his life for them to have a 5-point win. And I mean Wilkerson's going to do Wilkerson things, but I think I'd feel pretty safe on this one. I don't think Dorn shoots as hot as he did, especially doesn't have a little run like he went on. And there's still no answer for a big guy for Indiana. So you can feed TKR a lot on this one if you get Clough to be somewhat productive. I think you'll be fine and coast for most of this one. Because IU's not been that great on the road. But the rivalry always puts something weird in it, and the way Indiana can get hot for 3, that adds a little variability to this game, but I would feel very safe taking Purdue on this one.
There's no way Purdue loses this, guys. There's no way.
Don't say that, Jesus Christ. Don't say that. I can tell you a million ways that they lose this game, Brad. I've been doing this for 40 years.
Oh man. We don't have a spread on this, do we?
It's not out yet. It'll come Friday.
Tomorrow.
It's just that Duke-Michigan game is such a big game. They know they're going to get a very big handle on it. So they went ahead and put out look-ahead lines, really.
All right, as we kind of close out the show here, we've got for our bench behavior, which if you know what a bench behavior is, it's just truly just atrocious behavior or foolish behavior. And this person epitomizes that greatly, and that's Mick Cronin in general. That's literally the topic. The way that he treated his player, which Jake, you brought up that point earlier, and I think I had not thought about that, but that would be such a Mick Cronin mindset.
He's a look at me coach if there ever was one, and that drives me nuts because you're not supposed to be.
Are you raising your voice?
A little bit, just a little bit.
Are you raising your voice at me?
Yeah.
Sorry.
That was the other thing. No, that interview. That was such a. I mean, we just being a grade A asshole.
And that, and then like the guy asked, like, "Oh, what do you think about the Michigan State fans chanting about like the Booker and stuff?" Like, and then the way he dismissed that guy, telling him it's the dumbest question he's ever been asked. Like, just you are the epitome of what I don't want as my coach ever. You blame your players every time, and you do every antic you can to make everybody look at you and not the guys on the court when you're supposed to be stay on the side of the court for a reason. Whatever. You know what? More power to UCLA for hiring him and suffering through it.
Yeah.
As they come off a Final Four run a handful of years ago. So
we've said this for the months before the season even started. This dude does not want to coach this team. He does not want to coach in California. He does not like his players. He does not like his school. He does not like the organization around it. This dude is just as mentally done with being this team's coach as it gets, and I think they need to figure out a way to part ways.
Yeah.
It's an expensive buyout, I believe. I was looking at some of that. It is steep.
Well, I mean, they're probably going to be watching this Jerome Tang thing and see how that plays out with the embarrassment clause, if they have that in there, because this is another thing. I don't understand why losing and sucking at your job is not for cause. Like anywhere else, you screw up as big as like you get $20 million, $10 million, $5 million teams, and you don't make the tournament where the school can't make money. You're fired because you're not good at your job. But apparently, that's against the rules to fire coaches for not being good. That drives me nuts. That is for cause because you sucked at your job.
Mm-hmm.
Sucking is for cause. You don't have to just have a hooker on your bike and crash it. That's not just being for cause or cheating, changing grades. Apparently but that's not big enough to get fired. You can just leave and get another job real quick. But
that's right.
It just drives me. But then I got
Arkansas and Alabama double overtime.
Yeah. Here's
I was gonna say Arkansas just about missed their second straight free throw, but now it's a 1-point game.
Mark Pope, in the 50-year history of Rupp Arena, which is a very historic place, there's been 3 seasons where they've lost 3 games there, and after losing to Georgia, Mark Pope has 2 of those 3 seasons now.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a stat.
It's wild because, he came off a Sweet 16 run and all this, and it's so strange because that team can be so good, and then it just nights it doesn't, and Georgia is not great, especially on the road, and dropped that game. It dropped one to Missouri, which Missouri's got weirdly great wins in the SEC.
I know. I can't figure them out. I was looking at them actually a couple nights ago.
That's just fun. It's one of those fun stats because that's even something like Billy Gillespie never did, and we were talking about him in the first 50 games they had the same record. So it's just it's interesting what Pope's doing with his $20 million.
And lastly, for the standing oath, they went here the 2K26 to introduce 16 college basketball teams.
Yeah, how about that?
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I wish. I'm happy it's 2K that's doing it because the NBA Live, EA Sports NBA Live games have sucked. There's a reason they kind of quit making them.
Mm-hmm.
But I hate that we're not just getting a full game.
Yeah,
just
not yet anyway.
Just go ahead and do it. But I understand there's 360 teams. I would love the full game, but I'm excited to be able to play because I used to play the March Madness and college 2K all the time.
Yes.
But I can't wait to do that and get yelled at about how much time I'm spending playing that.
Yes. No, I agree with that. Yeah, I don't think Coach would like that either.
No.
Yeah.
I got one more standing over before we get out of here.
Go for it.
You know what? I'm all for Doug Gottlieb. I think him going nuts on those refs, and then is just proving the point I brought up way earlier. There is no recourse from the refs to screw that up because he was exactly right, 1,000% right.
Yeah.
I watched the game. He didn't do anything crazy to get that tee, and those refs just had bunny ears and heard what they want to hear and gave him a tee. They didn't want to call. I don't know. There's got to be some kind of recourse for these refs, and I think it's an absolute disgrace that he's suspended for a game over that.
Yeah.
Anybody can roast him for whatever reason, but God forbid we say anything bad about a ref and then you get suspended for a game. Like, and you're talking about a very massive game. And then I also liked his rant about Ken Palm, like, and how they're using that so much because, like, especially with those mid-major teams and things, when like if he's going to get asked about it, the team he's figuring out his team playing against way stronger competition at the beginning of the year. Like the team that happened in November is nowhere near the team that's playing in January in conference. So
Yeah.
like at first I thought I was going to hate the fact that he was coaching. I actually like him at Green Bay. I think he's doing a really good job.
Yep. No, I'm with you on that 100%.
Well, coach is still staring at us and giving us that slant eye, so we
Yeah.
better get in here and clean this thing up.
All right, y'all.
All right.
Take care.
Take care, y'all.